And the president of Ukraine fled. He's democratically elected according to your method, Mr. Obama, according to your system. He's a legally elected president of Ukraine. And he had to flee. And these hypocrites in Washington and London and Paris, who would like us to believe that they are honorable men, they are not. Instead of standing on the side of the legally appointed president and demanding the rule of law, they all showed their colors as hypocrites in immediately recognizing the new government in Ukraine. The new government in Ukraine is anti-Russian. That's what they wanted. That's why they brought down the Soviet Union, to bring in a Ukraine into being as independent state, and then to eventually get an anti-Russian government in Ukraine. If by Allah's kindness Putin had not intervened and been so spectacularly successful, this is what the plan would have been. The new government in Ukraine would have joined NATO, and Russia could not stop it. And when the new government in Ukraine joined NATO, NATO will then send its armed forces into Ukraine. It could include nuclear weapons. Then Ukraine will pick a fight with Russia and decide that Russia must now vacate Crimea. Shut down your naval base. The rope is now tightened around your neck. Russia has to put its tail between its legs and withdraw its fleet, Black Sea Fleet, from Crimea. Russia is no longer a naval power. Crick crack, you finish. And Israel will celebrate. That was the master plan. But Allah planned, and Allah's plan was successful. And it is time for the Muslim world to recognize and to see, I cannot influence governments, so what can I do? Don't bother, you waste your time with governments. But the people can understand that this was Allah's plan. They planned, the enemy planned for so long, and at the last moment Allah intervened. And Putin was able to get the people of Crimea to vote in a referendum. And they voted 90-something% in favor of returning to Russia. They were a part of Russia, and they want to return to Russia. So Putin was successful in delivering to the Zionist movement the first defeat it has ever suffered, significant defeat in the more than 100 years since the Zionist movement was established. If that is not a sign from Allah, it's time for you to wake up. Putin is now succeeding in eastern Ukraine as well, because they're barking like dogs in Washington and London and Paris. Barking. It is Russia which is doing it. It is Russia which is doing it in eastern Ukraine. Oh, but when the Ukrainian government send the Ukrainian armed forces into eastern Ukraine, they don't want to fight. They say, we will not fight our own people. They refuse to fight. So the only way that the government of Ukraine could now stamp down the insurrection, the popular resistance in eastern Ukraine, is by calling on Washington, come and send your Marines. And then what will Putin do? The Russian armed forces are amassed on the Ukrainian border. So the Ukrainian soldiers are refusing to fight their own people for two reasons. Number one, why should we do your dirty work for you? We're not going to fight our own people. That's not what soldiers are for. And number two, if we make the mistake of using guns on these Russian-speaking Ukrainians, what will the Russian army do to us tomorrow? And they have already said, Putin has already said, we are going to intervene to defend our people. He's already said it plainly. The writing is on the wall. Putin has won a victory in Crimea. Whether governments like it or not, whether governments vote this way or that way, is now irrelevant, because we all know that they have to vote where the butter is. Putin is on his road to a second victory in Ukraine. And they can't take defeat after defeat. So the writing is on the wall. Exactly as Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam has said, that we are now moving towards the malhama. How long will it take? I don't know, and you don't know. But the malhama is coming. How should we respond? The answer is, if you are living on the doorstep of the malhama, is it not time for you to devote attention to the study of the subject? To the study of ilmu Akhir zaman? I leave you with this, that if you care and respect the intellect that Allah gave you, the rational faculty that Allah gave you, it's time to wake up and to begin the serious study of the subject of ilmu Akhir zaman. Before I end, we are establishing an institute here in Malaysia to teach the subject. I'm not going to tell you where it's located, but it's going to be punduk style. We build huts, and so students will come and stay in the hut. You pay nothing for accommodation. You pay nothing for classes. So tell your mother to teach you to cook, because you're going to do your own cooking. And we are building huts. Students will come from far and wide. You will not believe the hunger there is. Yes, there is hunger in Malaysia, but I don't see it as much as I see it as in France. The tremendous hunger there is in France for the study of this subject, more than in Britain. In Algeria, in Morocco, in Tunisia, so many parts of the world, people are hungry, hungry, hungry for knowledge of this subject. So we say, help us to establish the institute. We need to build these punduks. We say, help us build a punduk for us and give it as waqf. Now you must not say waqaf, because the word is in the Quran, you must pronounce it as it is in the Quran. So you give it as waqf. But after you give it as waqf, you have the right to come and stay in that punduk whenever you want. Come with your wife, come and stay in the punduk. That's any time you want. It is when you are not in the punduk or in the hut, then students can come and stay in the hut, and you will get the barakah, sadaqah jariyah. So if you are interested in helping us, our deadline is November to start classes. We need to build enough huts. I think we need another 13 or 12 huts. We just got the last one from Brunei. There's a brother Yahya Ibrahim sitting right in front of me here. So please meet with him and discuss with him and make a promise or make a pledge that you will build a hut for us, inshallah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Ameen. We have some time. The Imam has given time for questions.